Well, it's time to talk about what I did investing-wise over the last 12 months. Again, I just want to share this as a means of helping you understand what I've done and maybe give you insight to some of my thought processes. But again, as evidenced by the disclaimer, I am not a registered investment advisor. I just share this as a launching pad for those of you who enjoy investing or those that are new to investing. And so let me share with you my investing transactions. When I look at stocks, I actually purchased and took new positions in 13 stocks. Now, I want you to know this does not mean I did not make transactions with stock positions that I already held, but these are the new ones, the companies that I started having stock in. And stock, for those of you who don't know, is ownership, part ownership of a company. And when you look at this, my new investments, well, let me list them. They're going to be on the screen here all at once. You'll see I purchased stock in AbbVie. It's a pharmaceutical corporation. I bought stock in Airbnb. I rent a lot from Airbnb. I like their business model and the so-called sharing economy. And I felt like it had dropped to a very approachable price early on in 2021. American Outdoors Brands. This is a kind of a hedge fund that has put together a bunch of brands, well-known outdoors brands, brands like Smith & Wesson, Huck, other brands like UST and Old Henry knives, Schrade knives, and the like, outdoors types products. AT&T, I purchased AT&T stock as an income play. I don't look for that stock to go up much, but it pays an extraordinary dividend. Meta Platforms, previously known as Facebook, I took a new position in that. I felt like the price had been beat down with some of the negative headlines, and they are profitable and they're doing excellently. We use them for our own business, for sponsored and paid ads, and I like the method that they use that with. I know that they are facing substantial challenges from Apple's new decisions on how they can place pixels on websites and the like. But I'm confident in Facebook's ability and Meta Platforms' abilities to figure out how to work around that. Kyndryl Holdings is a new holding that I have. I did not buy it myself. It actually was spun off from IBM stock that I already held. And so IBM made a decision to sell off a set of holdings that they had of international technology software. And so they named it Kyndryl Holdings. And so because I was an IBM stockholder, I now also own my IBM stock, but I also own shares of stock in Kyndryl Holdings. MongoDB is kind of a Web 3.0 play, and so I invested in it. That is a more speculative stock. OneMain Financial is a bank. Turns out they were already in my own hometown. I checked them out and I realized that they are priced very good. The price to earnings is very low, like many banks are. They pay a very steady dividend of over 4%. And so that again is a little bit of a growth play, but it is mostly an income play. I took a position in Organon and Company. This is a spinoff from Merck, the pharmaceutical company, and it's primarily medical pharmaceuticals that have lost the protection of their patents. So it's commonly known as generic drugs. And so Organon and Company is highly profitable and pays an excellent dividend. So it's primarily an income play for me. Now, I purchased stock in Viacom CBS. As you know, there is a huge competition out and underway via Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and Discovery Plus, and all the other providers that are out there. Viacom CBS has one as well. They recently renamed themselves the Paramount Global, stock ticker symbol PARA. And I bought that. They are also very profitable and pay an excellent dividend. So that's a growth and income play. And then I'm so excited about this. I've got to talk about this. Maybe I can have somebody on my team put a picture of this, but Portillo's. Now, if you're from Chicagoland area, you know about Portillo's. You can't not know about Portillo's. Portillo's sells the most extraordinarily unique quick service fast food, and it's known as Italian beef sandwiches and Chicago dogs. And my friends, if you have never had an Italian beef sandwich with sweet peppers, woo, it is a spiritual moment. And if you've never had a Chicago dog with a poppy seed bun and a relish that is the color of nuclear radiation and has a full pickle on it and sport peppers, and you can ditch the tomatoes, but they put them on there even though I think they're poisonous. And no ketchup. Chicagoans don't allow ketchup. I dare you to go in and ask for ketchup. They will give you the stink eye. But Portillo's has over 60 restaurants from the Portillo family. They have expanded their brand. I was recently in Fort Wayne and found a Portillo's. Oh, baby. I went and ordered a number one, which is a giant Italian beef sandwich with sweet peppers, of course. And I got a Coca-Cola and I got a Chicago dog and I ate it all with cheese fries. It was incredible. My cardiologist did not approve, but it was amazing. They recently did an initial public offering, took it public. And it is my single largest investment. They do not pay a dividend. They have hired the previous head of P.F. Chang's brand to take them global. And they now have over 60 restaurants. They have one in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They have one in Orlando, Florida. A couple, I believe, in Phoenix. And they're looking to take the store across the nation. And when one comes near you, I think you will see what I'm talking about. In the meantime, if you're in the Chicago area or in Phoenix or in Orlando, you should definitely make plans to visit. It's my single largest new investment that I've made in the past year. Qualcomm is a technology play. And many of you know of Qualcomm. They used to make a lot of phones. Now they're in the chip business big time. And I like that as an income and a growth play. And then I invested in Robinhood. Robinhood Markets is the name of the company. Stock ticker symbol HOOD, H-O-O-D. And it is a financial technology play, also known as FinTech. And so I purchased all those. Now, I purchased all those in various quantities, but I also completely exited or closed or sold stock in 5 investments. And I wanted to share them with you as well. And so you can see them here all on the screen. But Eli Lilly Corporation. I grew up just south of Indianapolis, Indiana. Eli Lilly, founded by Colonel Eli Lilly. I write his amazing story at the back of my book, Oxen. I hope you all have read it. If not, just flip to the back of that. It's an amazing story of Colonel Eli Lilly and how pharmaceutical drug company Eli Lilly was founded. But they have gotten approval on Alzheimer's drugs. The first drug company to have a drug that has some effect on Alzheimer's. Their stock exploded on the news, and so I sold it and made a 58.55% gain. And so I feel good about it. Now watch it go up another 20 times, but you know, for me, I believe that if I've made 58.55%, it's probably time to get out of it. Ford Motor Company and General Motors, I sold those stocks. I made about an 80.67% gain in my Ford Motor Company stock. Investors are very happy with their move to green and electric motor vehicles. I encourage you to check them out. But with the major gain, I decided to close that position. I did the same for General Motors, but in a different way. I did it because I feel like both Ford and General Motors and all the automakers are being crushed by the chip shortage and by the rush on demand, in that if you drive by any of their car lots, there is not a single car available, new car, for them to sell. And for many vehicles, it's months out. I believe that is going to cause major issues to their profitability in the future. And so I chose to close my position. It certainly limits their ability to grow right now. I closed out my position in an S&P 500 index fund in one of my individual investments. It's not that I don't like S&P 500 index funds. I do have other ones. And so I chose to close that position, believing I could deploy that money in a more valuable way elsewhere. And I also closed my investment in Under Armour. I bought Under Armour when they were under great duress about 2.5 years ago, and their stock had went up more than double. And so I closed that position. I also made some new real estate investments. I've got some pictures to show you. I bought a commercial real estate office. It's a duplex. It has a company leasing each side of it. And I bought that with a partner. I'm going to talk about that a little later, but I encourage you to look for partnerships. There are times that you can accomplish a lot more with a partner. And so I bought this commercial real estate office for 2 reasons. One is it is an income generator. It also is increasing in value. It's tax advantage, which lines up with rungs 3, 6, and 8 on the ladder. but I also did it because we are outgrowing our space here where I'm recording this course right now, and I wanted to preserve and secure our future locations. And so it made sense for us to acquire that commercial real estate office. I also made a land purchase. Many of you know my fondness for land, particularly land with deer and turkey infestations on it. And I just love being out in God's creation, in His creation. And we purchased 238 acres. And I'm super excited about it. I got a picture of it. There was snow there this year, and that's saying something because it's even further south than my house here in South Carolina. And I bought that with a partner, a 50-50 partnership. And right now, as I'm recording this course, I have a logger who's walking that land, helping me understand how I might manage it. I am not a fan of clear cutting, but I am a fan of managing land. As you know, some trees do not last and do not do well as old growth forest. And so we will manage it, but we will not clear cut it. And so I made those investments. I made no new non-real estate business acquisitions. I want to say that out loud, not just to you, but for my team members. In 2019, I gathered our whole team together and said if the last 10 years had been about starting and acquiring businesses, and I had acquired 3 businesses and started 5 others, I said, if the last 10 years have been about acquiring or starting, let's let the next 10 years be about growing and integrating them. And I promised, without promising, I would not make any new business acquisitions. I've made good on that now for close to 3 years. I made minimal silver acquisition. I did buy some silver, and I made some minimal cryptocurrency acquisition. When you hear the word minimal with cryptocurrency, think in hundreds of dollars, not even $1,000 worth. And so those are the investments that I acquired. Do you know what ones you acquired? And you might be saying, Joe, I'm just getting started out, and your mind is spinning right now saying, how did you do all that? How's that possible? Joe must be swimming in money like Scrooge McDuck. That is not true. What I will tell you is I started with buying a stock over 15 years ago. And it took me about 3 years before I ever bought another one. Just so you know. So if you're just getting started out, I'm not saying go out and buy tons of different things. But I am saying stick your toe in the water. And for those of you that are more familiar with it, once you learn this, then all of those weird feelings of risk kind of go away and you become familiar with it. And so I encourage you to think about the investments you made over the last year and why did you make those decisions? And then we're going to go to the next stage and I'm going to talk about my prognostications for the coming year.